A disaster larger than any in world history is coming from California, according to what scientists are warning. It's happened before and it will happen again, but this time it'll be much worse. A mega drought may currently be the most significant hazard across California at the moment amid the ongoing risk of earthquakes and wildfires. However, in a new study, UCLA scientists warn that another more serious catastrophe, dubbed a megaflood, is on the horizon for California. According to an alarming study published Friday, August 12th in the peer-reviewed journal Science Advances, climate change is dramatically increasing the likelihood of a megaflood across the state of California in the future, which would likely result in multiple cities underwater and millions of displaced people. Their research found that a severe storm lasting for an entire month could bring feet of rain to hundreds of miles of California, with some areas receiving more than 100 inches of rain. The loop below displays the movement of water vapor and the probable buildup of precipitation at selected time slices during the course of a 30-day scenario. It was developed by Qingying Huang, one of the authors of the study. And as we see, the area turns purple as the flooding increases, of course. The inevitable disaster is being referred to as California's second big one, a reference to the catastrophic earthquake expected to strike the state any day now, but this new analysis found that the losses caused by a megaflood would outweigh those caused by a major earthquake by a wide margin. According to the findings of the study, the likelihood of a future megaflood, as well as their severity, are both significantly increased with each degree of heat caused by global warming. In fact, the scientists concluded that such catastrophic floods are now twice as likely to occur. The risk of a California megastorm event increases approximately linearly with global warming. Climate change to date has already doubled the risk relative to a century ago. Dr. Daniel Swain, a climate scientist at UCLA and co-author of the study, said in a news release that in a future scenario where a megaflood occurs on a hotter planet Earth, the storm sequence is bigger in almost every respect. Swain added, there's more rain overall, more intense rainfall on an hourly basis, and stronger wind. And according to Swain, statewide floods affecting all of California like this have occurred around once per century, or two over the course of the last 1,000 years. He believes the present risk of such a catastrophic disaster has been grossly underestimated. Dr. Swain warned, societal, from a public policy and climate adaptation infrastructure building perspective, we are falling behind. Our goal in doing this work is to get ahead of the curve as much as we can when it comes to the risk of a megaflood. We know that eventually it will happen and that climate change is upping the odds. The Great Flood of 1862 in California happened before global warming was a thing, measuring up to 300 miles long and 60 miles across. Lithograph depicting deep inundation in Sacramento during the Great Flood of 1862, which turned much of the Central Valley into a temporary inland sea. Now, however, the same storm in 2022 would, according to the study, uproot 5 to 10 million people, cut off the state's main roadways for months with significant economic repercussions, and submerge a significant number of major Central Valley cities in addition to portions of Los Angeles. The research is an expansion of the arc storm scenario that was published in 2010, which got its name from the atmospheric rivers that would fuel a severe storm resulting in mass flooding of biblical proportions. The research is an expansion of the arc storm scenario published in 2010. This new study is only the first stage of an initiative referred to as Arc Storm 2.0, which aims to revisit the scenario further. According to the research conducted at UCLA, a catastrophic flood on the scale of the one that occurred in 1862 would result in a loss of at least $1 trillion. The news release said, Parts of cities such as Sacramento, Stockton, Fresno, and Los Angeles would be underwater even with today's extensive collection of reservoirs, levees, and bypasses. It's estimated that it would be a $1 trillion disaster, larger than any in world history, according to the news release. Swain noted that in the release that many Californians have forgotten about severe flooding threat because of the attention that has been paid to the drought and the wildfires. Swain explained there is potential for bad wildfires every year in California, but a lot of years go by when there's no major flood news. People forget about it. The scientists use both new high-resolution weather models and existing climate models to compare two extreme situations, one that would occur approximately once every century in the recent historical climate, and another that would occur in the projected climate of 2081 to 2100. The Arc Future and Arc History cumulative precipitation time series. Each of these scenarios features a series of storms that were fed by atmospheric rivers over the period of 1 month. Ribbons of water vapor make up the atmospheric rivers, which can be found stretching across thousands of miles from the tropics to the western United States. They are responsible for providing the fuel for the enormous rain and snowstorms that can bring floods throughout the West Coast. Their width ranges from 250 to 375 miles. According to the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, these kinds of occurrences, despite being beneficial for water supplies, can wreak havoc on transportation, bring about lethal mudslides, and cause devastating damage to both life and property. Numerous studies now suggest the effects of climate change will cause atmospheric rivers to become hotter, more powerful, and more frequent. Swain said nobody could possibly argue we did not see this coming if and when this hits. There's still potentially time to do something about it before things go haywire. And this is on The Mind Unleashed by Katie Hutton. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.